This short video will tell you everything you need to know about using Momentem. You should already have watched part 1, which gives you an overview of the important concepts within the service. Please remember that not all of the features shown in this video are available to users of our free Call Time Tracker app, only to Momentem users. This video shows Momentem running on a BlackBerry store. Momentem also works in a similar manner on all BlackBerry models. Let's start with locating Momentem on the handset. Momentem is like any other app that you have downloaded, so you'll find it in the Downloads folder, or you may have moved it elsewhere. We recommend moving it to the home screen for easy access, as the video shows. Momentem works in two distinct ways. It runs in the background and automatically pops up after important calls and emails, or you can open Momentem at any time by clicking on the icon. When you click it, you'll see the main menu. Here's a quick tip. Momentem defaults to US dollars, but you can change it by clicking Configuration and then clicking UI and Language. You can then choose from pounds or euros, and we will introduce more currencies over time. The Contacts option allows you to manage your database of Momentem contacts and projects and their associated phone numbers and email addresses. From within there you can rename them, change the hourly rate that you bill a particular contact at, and remove any unwanted ones. Remember that Momentem doesn't have the same contacts that you have in your phone book. With Momentem you create them on the fly as you tag calls and activities. So whatever you do in your Momentem contacts world has no impact on your phone book, and vice versa. They're completely separate. The sync button has only one option. If your phone gets reset or you change handsets, you use sync to re-download your contacts and projects database from our service free of charge. There's no need to re-enter any of your contacts and projects ever. Remember that our sync functionality does not sync your phone book. We keep your Momentem tagging world separate from your regular phone book. When you don't deal with a pop-up within 10 seconds, the tag goes into your Not Now list for processing later. This is especially useful when driving, so you can visit your Not Now list at any time to process those tags. The Ignore list stores all the numbers and email addresses that you decided you didn't need to tag, for example because they were personal rather than business. However, you can edit the list. Perhaps you put someone in there accidentally or now need to start billing them for your time. The Tag Expenses feature is not available to Call Time Tracker users, but for Momentem users it means you can log your expenses and book them to your contacts and projects. Let's look at this in more detail. You can book any expense to a contact and project, and if the expense doesn't conform to the standard format, for example mileage, you can easily put notes in to remind you when it's time to do your expenses. And for international expenses, you can set up a separate contact or project for each country, for example ABC Electronics Europe and ABC Electronics China. By the way, whether you're tagging calls, emails, activities or expenses, you will see checkboxes marked CC Summary to Me and CC Summary to Contact. If you click CC Summary to Me, you will receive an instant email with all of the information you tagged, which is particularly useful if you need to follow up on something when you get back to the office. If you click CC Summary to Contact, if your contact's email address is known to the Momentem service, your contact will also receive a copy of the same email. This is useful when you and your contact have had a call and have agreed some things, which you then type into the notes field, and you want to send a confirmation of the tagged information to your contact so that they don't forget what was agreed. The Tag Activities feature is not available to Call Time Tracker users, but for Momentem users it means that activities such as meetings and the time spent on desk activities can also be logged to the same contacts and projects as everything else in your Momentem world. Here's a useful tip regarding activities. The duration needs to be entered in hours, so 4 hours 15 minutes is 4.25 hours, but once you've typed the duration, click on it and the start time adjusts accordingly. You only need to go into the configuration menu to change a setting. Let's take a look. We talked about how UI and Language enables you to change currency. The network options enables you to set how much data you want Momentem to pass from the start of your billing cycle, just in case you're on a very restrictive data plan. But here, let's look at the first one in the list in more detail, tagging options. A useful feature is to be able to effectively turn Momentem off by unchecking the Tag My Phone Calls and the Tag My Emails boxes. A little known feature is the ability to background tag all of your calls with no pop-ups. However, you then can't allocate contacts and projects to them. They are sent as basic call information, date, time, duration, number, etc., but no contact and project. This is a useful feature to keep tabs on your total minutes, for example. On this page you can also set your default hourly rate, but you can override that for any particular contact within the Contacts menu option. The My Reporting button is the way of extracting huge value from our service. All week long or all month long you've tagged away, now it's time to make sense of it all. You have two options. You can get an instant summary on the screen of your phone, or you can request a fully detailed Excel spreadsheet to be sent to you via email. Either way, you choose the start and end date, hit the request button, and our service will do the rest. You can use the on-handset report to keep tabs on your minutes used, or check your expenses and billable time for the month. And you can of course use the Excel report to do your billing, complete an expense claim, make sense of your bill, or produce a timesheet of your activity. Finally, it's worth highlighting the online help button. That's your access to lots of additional resources, including help manuals and FAQs. Okay, so now we've navigated our way through the menu options. As I said, the other part of Momentum, and to be honest the part that makes the most money for our users, is the automatic pop-ups at the end of calls or emails. Part 1 showed you how the system learns and how you can customize it. Part 2, this video, will simply show you how to handle the pop-ups so that you get the most out of the system. If you leave a pop-up for 10 seconds it goes away, but it hasn't gone forever. It's gone to your Not Now list for processing later. You can also move a pop-up to your Not Now list by pressing the button on the screen. The dismiss option is simply if you don't want to tag that call at all. Once dismissed, it's gone. Add to Ignore list means that you don't ever need to tag calls from that number or tag emails from that email address. For example, it may be a friend, not a client. So if you hit Tag It, we will grab the duration, date, time and number dialed, and you will then add to it the following. You can book the call to any existing or new contact and project. You can edit the duration. You can flag the time you spent and the cost of the call as being billable to the contact. You can send a copy of the tagged record to yourself and the client. And you can add some notes which are perfect when you're looking back at your records months later. Once you have filled the form in, hit Submit and we will store the tag safely until you need it. So that's a pretty detailed overview of Momentum. Yes, it's sophisticated, but if you take a few seconds at the end of an important call to tag it properly, it will make you more money, help you to recover more of your phone costs, get your boss or the tax man off your back. It'll show your clients what you do for them, and it will enable you to manage the sea of important calls that everybody seems to get these days, all from those simple pop-ups that you've now mastered. Part 3 of this video, which is a separate video, will show you the 6 use cases of Momentum. That's the 6 typical ways that people use the service all day every day. And for each of the 6 use cases it will give you great advice on how to get the most out of the service. Our aim is to put more money back into your pocket.